Hey ladies, so I want to talk about mindset shifts for a happier life. We go through so much and we sit back and we try to figure out what are we doing wrong, what are we doing right, and all the different things. And this is for me as well. I said anything that I do or talk about, I'm applying to myself as well. We all learning as we go. So I'm sitting here fumbling around with my my glasses, my cases, because I cannot see. And I want to tap into my notes to make sure that, I am spilling all the tea that I need to be spilling today because your girl is just in her groove, in her groove. But first, before we get into, our mindset shifts, how are you guys doing? What is going on? How are you feeling? Where are you? Have you taken any time out for yourself? And be honest. And if you haven't, what are you going to do to take time for yourself? I'm talking to you because I've been taking time for myself. Today I'm going to go for a walk later on this evening, and I'm going to try to clean my garage is not bad, but I started my October reset. So one of my goals is to work out in my garage. I'm not turning my garage into a gym or anything like that, but I do have a treadmill. I do have yoga mats and things like that and weights. So I want to really utilize my garage because I'll only go to the gym 3 times a week. I had to be realistic with myself. But we're going to get into all this mindset stuff. Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. So again, you guys are doing well. That's good. But don't forget, leave it in the description. Let me know how you're doing. So mindset plays a huge role in our happiness, especially for us women over 40. Sometimes I sit back and think, like, if my heart and my mind is doing well, then everything is going good. When I'm having all these external thoughts, my mind is running, I'm overthinking, I'm just in a space, I'm not good, I'm not happy. So I need to find ways to keep my happiness more frequent than less, if that makes any sense. So I just have a few points that I want to just kind of, jump in. How many do I have here? I've got about 4. So we're going to get into them nice and quick. We're not going to jump. I want to keep things kind of short and sweet now. I felt like last few of my episodes, they were kind of like long and whatnot. And I said, Kelly, make it sweet. But, I run my mouth, so we ain't going to get to the point no time soon. So the power of perception. Happiness is always a matter of perception, and we can control how we view situations. Prime example, control what you can, not what you can't. You can read a text. Sometimes I don't like texting, especially if I'm texting somebody where we're having a serious conversation and I know that person's tone. But I also know that person's tone when they're speaking, nice and sweet. Sometimes instead of us picking a nice and sweet tone, we'll go for the mean tone that we know how they can talk. But it's all about perception. It's all about perception. I want us to refrain from challenges and see them as opportunities. And what I'm trying to say is you see a situation and the situation may have went bad, right? And instead of you sitting here saying, why did that happen to me? Why did this situation happen? Turn around and say, what can I learn from it? Like right now, I am going through something. When I tell you I'm going through it. But I'm not going to let the world know, people around me, that I'm going through something. I'm just going to deal with it. It's not like it's bad or anything like that. Like to where I need to call out some prayer warriors and nothing like that. But I look at the situation, instead of me sitting here saying, why is this happening to me? Or why does this always happen to me? What can I learn from this? If I can sit back and ask this question, I can possibly learn something from it. Maybe I need to refrain from it. Maybe I need to redirect. Something needs to happen. So some situations where you can kind of use your power of perspective is like in career, relationships, and what else do I have here? I'm trying to think. I got down here, I got down here empty nest syndrome. But that's for folks who are kind of dependent on their children. You know, what can you learn from it for you to sit and say, I'm going to let go and let them fly? Like, my youngest is going to college. Like, both of my daughters are going to be gone. I'm waiting for it. So, is it going to be some challenges? I'm still got to take care of one in college, yeah. But what is going to be, what can I learn from it? Now I can focus on me. And I'm going to focus on me even while she's still in her last year of high school. You know, you sit back and think about, you may have had pockets in your life where you actually cared for yourself. Now it's time to actually care for yourself. Like, don't wait for something to change or something to get different for you to care for yourself. Do it now, no matter what, while all the mist is going on, because you cannot pour from an empty cup or a half full one. Your cup needs to be runneth over, running over for you to pour in to someone else. So, letting go of perfection. Let me tell you something. Before I get into perfectionism, I'm currently right now, for those who are listening via your streaming platform, right now I am here in a comfy lounge outfit with my glasses on, no makeup, and I am doing my podcast, and I'm doing a video as well. Normally, I would look decent, and I will put on some makeup to do my video podcast. But I said, no, Kelly, do not let perfectionism or a certain look get in the way of you providing value, doing what you love, and talking to the ladies. So yes, I said, Kelly, you cannot do this. It doesn't make you happy, because you get upset when you can't make an episode or when you don't deliver and do your episodes, because you're like, I don't feel like putting on makeup. I don't feel like doing this. Like, this is Kelly. 9 times out of 10, Kelly is looking like this. Because I work from home. So when I get off work, I'll start dinner. I.e., that's what I'm doing now. And I'll either record my episodes from my 6 to 9, or I'll do it on the weekends. And I had to sit back and say, Kelly, this particular weekend, you want to do something for yourself. You want to spend time with your family. So when you get off work, you have to do what you have to do. And if you don't want to put on makeup, you don't have to put on makeup. You can go ahead and you can do your video podcast, and you can be yourself. So this is me letting go of perfection. This is me coming up here in my true authentic self and using my glasses so I can read and providing value, because it's so many things that we want to do, and we always waiting for the right time. We're waiting for to lose this, gain this, or the room gotta look like this. Like, you don't know how many times I sat and said, I don't like my mic. I can't do my podcast. I don't like my setup for my video podcast. I want it to look a certain way. Now, will that change eventually? Absolutely, it will change. But right now, it can't change. And I had to sit back and say, Kelly, you can't change nothing until you show up. Until you show up. And when you show up, then you can change your mic. My mic is good because you can hear me. But, we get so caught up in the outer, and we don't really realize we is who the value is. You know what I mean? So, in saying all of that, perfectionism creates stress and unhappiness. I was unhappy when I wasn't doing my podcast. Very unhappy. And I had so many excuses on why I couldn't do it. Because, I can't do it because I don't have any makeup on. I would have to do a video podcast to go with the audio. Every excuse in the book. I said, no more excuses, Kelly. No more excuses. So not only am I telling myself, I'm telling you. So whatever you want to do, whatever you want to start, you must do it and do it as you. And then as you grow, and you will go. As you grow, you will go. Or as you go, you will grow. Let's just do it. see, the real time here. So strive for progress and not perfection, and that's where I am. That is where I am. I'm using this fall. I did a fall reset. If you guys have not listened or watched that episode, please go listen to it. Please go watch it because I dropped a lot of gems. And I want to share because I know there's other women out here just like me who want to tackle so many things in life. And we can do that, just do it bit by bit, And accept that flaws are a part of life. And just being is good enough. Like I know right now, for those who hear me, those who see me, this is so relatable. Because I know I ain't the only one at 48 with readers, okay? I ain't the only one. How many readers you got around your house? Leave that in the description. How many readers do you have around your house? The readers that we buy from Walmart, Target, the dollar store, the ones that the eye doctor may have prescribed to you. How many readers do you have floating around your house? I thought it was a joke growing up. My mother always had readers around the house. And you want to know how many I got? Do you want to know how many I got in my car? My bag, my work bag, my work area. Girl, bye. Let me know. So in saying all of that, we're going to go by this mantra right here. Done is better than perfect. And as we keep going and doing things, whatever that might be, it will get as good as it's going to get. We don't want to strive for perfect because perfect is unrealistic. And sometimes when things are too perfect, there might be some evil behind it. So we just have to, be where we are. Embracing self-compassion. Now that kind of goes hand in hand with perfectionism. Be kind to yourself. Prime example, me being so hard on myself because I didn't do my episode. I didn't want to put on makeup and so forth and so on. Like those things are so not needed. So just be kind to yourself, especially during hard times, replace self-criticism with self-compassion. I'm so serious. I am so serious. You can talk to close friends, family, if you have that. I'm at a point in my life, I do have girlfriends that I can talk to, but at the end of the day, we're all going through things. And I realize that as we're getting older, I realize that as, some of us, taking care of our parents, some of us are just taking care of children. Some of us may have had children later on in life, so they're going through that where we done had our kids, or just work in general. I find now for me, I'm very mindful of what I share with my friends. And these are friends on all different levels. You may have like friends from childhood. You may have friends that you met in adult years or whatever the case. I just really, I'm very mindful of what I share. So now I share everything. When I tell you everything, with my therapist. So if anything, I told him. I tell my therapist, and I feel like these last going on 4 years, I have not had anything. And I don't think people do it intentionally, but I have not had anything thrown back in my face or anything like that, or mentioned or snickered or whatever the case may be, because I've learned. And again, that's learning the hard way. Some things like, I mentioned before about what can you learn from this. And I've learned I don't share like I used to. But I do share still some things, with people. But I'm very, very mindful. Very, very mindful. I learned the hard way. So, yeah, I learned the hard way. So, An actionable tip is to practice positive self-talk and affirmations. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. Okay? But don't let your mistakes make you. Don't let your mistakes make you. You know, when you see, because sometimes it can happen to the best of us. If you see something happen once, and you're like, okay, and you do it again. Now it's time for you to check you. That's what happened to me. I had to say, hey, hold on. You don't like this. You don't like this feeling. So now you need to learn something from it. And that's when I realized I had to make some changes. So now, me with mindfulness, I'm very aware now. I'm very, very aware. Not that I wasn't aware before, but my awareness is like times 10. Times 10. And I can tell nowadays when I see that somebody's trying to try me. So that's a different situation. But yeah, we're focusing on embracing self-compassion. And I just gave you some examples. Okay. And last but not least, living in the present. I feel like I have been in my worst and I was not happy when I focused on the past or if I went too far in the future. And we all know what that is, anxiety. And too far in the past is depression. So consistently dwelling on the past or worrying about future creates unhappiness. Facts. Like, again, like I mentioned, I'm going something right now and I'm back and forth, and I'm comparing and contrasting, doing all things. And all it's doing is wearing me down. So I had to make a hard stop. And that was yesterday, October 2nd. I made a hard stop. And I had to sit and say, Kelly, you made a mistake. Forgive yourself and move on. And I asked myself the same question. I'm telling you, what can you learn from this? And what's it going to take for you not to put your hand back in the fire? Pretty much. So, yeah. So focus on the present. Incorporate mindfulness practice such as deep breathing, short meditations, and you can do meditations throughout the day. It's not just meant for you to do it, in your morning routine or your evening routine or something like that. You can do meditation whenever you feel like you need to. It's nothing. You just gotta to ground yourself in the present. And that's something that I'm working on. So I know it's easier said than done because, again, we're human and we're fighting all the different things that we're dealing with in life. And society ain't doing no better. Society's not doing any better with not letting us stay present, if that makes any sense. So, to recap everything we talked about in regards to mindset shifts for a happier life. We talked about perspective, perfectionism, self-compassion, and just living in the present. Just living in the present. And I encourage you to start small. Choose one mindset shift. You don't have to do them all. And there's so many others. And as we move on and talk more, we're going to talk about so many others. But, choose one mindset shift to focus on this week. This week. And let me tell you something. You might fall back. And some of us will keep going strong and won't let nothing, deter us from our path. But if you do, just have compassion for yourself. Don't feel like it's over. Because it's never over. You can always jump back up and just do it all over again. So, I want to leave some little nuggets out here for you. If you are new, go ahead and subscribe if you are on the YouTube platform. And if you are on any of the streaming platforms, go ahead and follow so you won't miss an episode. And I want to say thank you. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And us women over 40, we are the jam. Okay? I'll catch you in the next episode.